Welcome back to the It's Too Easy podcast. I'm your host, Zach, and this is my brother, Jake. And today we're just going to be breaking down what we're expecting for the NBA playoffs based off of what we know so far. Obviously, the play-in games are tonight and tomorrow. The Lakers just took down the Pelicans, so Kings and Warriors are about to start. Jake, what are some of your thoughts for the playoffs and the playoff matchups that we have?
Yeah, so Kings Warriors tonight. Kind of expecting no different from last year. The Kings didn't really have a very good year this year. Felt like they were just missing a couple pieces. A couple guys to develop and kind of get back into their groove into the league. Keon Ellis is a rookie, so I feel like he needs a season or two to kind of grow into his own. And then obviously Keegan Murray is in his second year, but just seeing him develop defensively this year has been cool. But as a team, the Kings defensively hasn't been much improved from last year, so I don't expect much to change tonight. I expect Steph's gonna probably score 25 to 30. Clay's gonna put up 20, and the Warriors defense will be able to will them to a win. But the Lakers and Pelicans just happened. Lakers took it by 4, so now the Lakers are gonna get a chance to go play Denver. Really looking forward to that series. To be honest, it's going to be a good, hopefully a bounce back series for the Lakers from last season. The Nuggets don't have Bruce Brown, so looking forward to seeing how they match up compared to kind of what they were like last year. I know Anthony Davis kind of laid a dud in the series last season, so I'm hoping that this series he'll be able to kind of put up a better performance and, just kind of keep Jokic from taking over. So, yeah, what do you think of that one?
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think this is the best bet for the Lakers. A lot of people were thinking that they should try and avoid the Nuggets and take their shot in a one-on-one against the Kings or Warriors for this 8th seed. I think this is really the best bet, though, because either way, they would have to eventually beat the Nuggets. And so I think I'd rather take my chances now while Braun and AD are healthy and the team is connecting very well,
Yeah.
rather than letting the Nuggets get into a groove like they did last year, taking down the Timberwolves, which was in 5, I believe it might have been 6, and then moving obviously forward into the Western Conference Finals with that matchup. I'd rather do it now, honestly. I mean, there's not much expectation for LeBron. It's year 21. Uh,
Yeah.
People are going to hate either way. So, I mean, if you're going to lose, you're going to lose. But if you're going to win, it's going to be round one while your team's clicking and while the Nuggets are still kind of trying to figure it out. Obviously, the Nuggets, they're got the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic, the best shooting guard or second best. He's really a point guard, but Jamal Murray is top 5 point guard, especially come playoffs every year. So excited to see how he steps up. But yeah, like you said, no Bruce Brown was big for him last year. It's going to be interesting to see how the DeAndre Jordan, Christian Brown, how those guys kind of step up for him off the bench. And to see how the Lakers defense holds up against the Nuggets, who move the ball well and hit a lot of threes.
Yeah, true. But yeah, that also brings me to the other matchup. That should be the Pelicans and most likely going to be the Warriors, is what I'm expecting.
Mm-hmm.
If it is the Kings haven't matched up well against the Pelicans all year, so I'm going to take the Pelicans. But if it's the Warriors, I feel like the Warriors have a good chance to shoot all around the Pelicans, and they play good enough defense where they could take that game. So I wouldn't sleep on the Warriors if they're in that one with the Pelicans, but especially if Zion's not playing now. Seeing him go out with 40 was a little bit heartbreaking, but I mean, what can you do? So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I expect the Warriors to take it, especially if Zion's not playing. So we'll see how it goes. But then that leads into the Warriors playing the Thunder or the Pelicans playing the Thunder, which would be really good series because the Thunder don't have much playoff experience, as we've mentioned before, but they obviously did come away with a 1 seed, which is pretty incredible for them. So what do you think is going to happen with the Thunder against either the Pelicans or the Warriors?
Thunder up. Thunder are going to dog whoever they play. I don't think they're going to have too much of an issue with either team. They're at home. They got the home court. They've got the dogs. Shannon Sharp said something dumb about this is the weakest 1 seed that there's been in the West in a long time in a conference that has 10 teams with 46 wins.
Yeah, I mean, the East had a team with like 36 wins, and so it's not really comparable.
You got 10 teams with 46 wins. They're the 1 seed. Yes, their average age is 23, and they're young, and they're being led by Shea, who is the MVP, or should be. They'll give it to Joker, but it should be Shea. 31, 6-6. 2 steals a game, led the league in steals, 1 block a game, efficient as can be. Does it both
Easily
ways,
the
and
most slept on player, for sure, the most
yeah,
slept on player in the
led.
league.
I do think Jalen Williams is going to be better than Shea, so like take that what you will. But I think Shea was the MVP this year. I think Joker's the best player in the league. But yeah, for that series, I do think the Thunder match up well with the Warriors. They did all year, and there were a bunch of very fun games. So I think that's the best for viewership if you're trying to get money for TV sponsors. I do like the Pelicans and the health when they have it. Obviously, Bi's just coming back, and now Zion goes down, so that's been the struggle that they've continued to deal with. But they have the talent to be able to put up a fight with us. But Thunder up, I think they take it. They're being slept on, and they're going to go into it most likely as an underdog,
Yeah,
which is crazy. If it's the Pelicans, they'll be favored, but if it's the Warriors, I think they'll be an underdog.
yeah, I agree. No, I think yeah, I think it's going to end up being the Warriors, but especially if Pelicans don't have Zion playing, because obviously he put up 40 tonight and they still lost. So
Mm-hmm.
if he's not going to be
Yep.
around to impact the game, it's going to be tough to see the Pelicans pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the eastern side of the bracket for the play-ins. You got Miami going against Philadelphia, and then Atlanta going against Chicago. For
Mm-hmm.
Miami versus Philadelphia, obviously they have Joel Embiid back. Don't think he's been back too long, but I don't know how much impact he's going to be able to have after just getting back after a long injury. Um, and Miami's been playing pretty well. They got close to winning their division, only a game off, I think, the Magic in the end.
How about the
Um,
Magic? Let's
yeah, the
go.
Magic are
Let's
incredible, man.
go.
But yeah,
They
I
won
do
out
think that as
preseason.
long as Bam keeps Joel under control, then they're going to be able to take that game, and then Philadelphia will be able to take it no matter what against Chicago or Atlanta. I think they're just going to be a better team. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. What do you think?
I think the Sixers are going to take this one. Joel's going to go for 30-ish. I think Jimmy's going to have a big game. Tobias Harris over him. I mean, that's the question, right? He asked
Yeah,
coming out the tunnel a couple years ago. I do think it's going to end up being the Sixers as the 7 seed matching up with the Knicks. And then I think the Heat will pull that 8 seed to rematch the Celtics early. Um, yeah, I think that's the best bet is to put the Heat against the Celtics already again, as the Lakers are against the Nuggets. And I do think the Knicks and the Sixers would be a heck of a series.
yeah, that would be a fun one. I would really like to see the Knicks against the Sixers. Also, wouldn't be sad to see the Heat against the Knicks. I think that would be a really good
Mm-hmm.
series as well. But then, obviously, the one I really want to talk about is Cleveland against Orlando. That series is going to be a banger. Obviously, the Magic won their division for the first time in a long time, especially with one of the youngest teams in the NBA. Really impressive season for them. I don't expect them to have the experience advantage going into this playoffs, and I think that Donovan Mitchell's just going to absolutely go off in at least 3 of these games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm expecting a 4-1 series, so I'm going to pick Cleveland on that one. I just think that the Magic are going to need a kind of a series under the belt like the Kings, and then we'll see where they're at next season if they can get some new pieces to kind of like fulfill the puzzle that the Kings weren't able to do this season. I think so. What do you think?
Yeah, a couple thoughts I had. I said preseason. One, Magic are going to win the division. It's going to be down to the last game. It was down to the last game. That happened.
Yeah,
Two, I said I don't expect much come playoffs. I don't think they're that good of a team. Granted, I think they would win. I think the Cavs win 4-1 or 4-2. With that being said, the odds for 4-1, 4-2 specifically are plus 360 and plus 490, meaning if you bet both, if one hits, you're going to be up money either way. So I love those plays. I think the 360 is more reasonable with the Cavs winning 4-1. I do think it's going to be Cavs go up 2-0 at home, steal one on the road, and finish them off at home. So I think
yeah,
4-1's more likely. But just because maybe I'm disrespecting the Magic, even though they cashed in a plus 800 future for me, like they could get a second. I still don't think that they'll be able to force a game 7. They're too young.
yeah,
They don't really, as much as they're like a good team that kept winning games, they're on and off with Franz playing well, Mo playing well, Cole Anthony coming off the bench, Paolo here and there. Like um, you need a it guy, and I don't think
yeah.
they have that when it comes to the playoffs and the experience.
Yeah, and I think the consistency factor is just not going to factor into playoffs at all. Like everybody's going to step up their game, be playing to a different level, and I just think that the Cavs have the right tools to match up really well against the Magic. So I expect them to
Especially
go
after getting
slam through
ran
that
by the
series.
Knicks. Yeah, especially
Yeah,
after getting ran by the Knicks last year, and it was just like,
hmm
oh, see ya.
they're gonna
And
want
Jared
some
Allen made
revenge.
some,
So
yeah, Jared Allen made some dumb comment about how he just kind of no showed, and like that's just kind of what he does, kind of thing. And I'm just like, what do you mean?
what an
Like,
idiot.
take it personal and play better. So, with it being Wendell Carter being young, I could see Jarrett and Evan Mobley both stepping up this year.
Yeah, I agree. And then Phoenix against Minnesota. That's going to be a banger of a
Mhm.
series. Obviously, the Suns and the Wolves. Anthony Edwards. It's going to be pretty much him versus World. I think. Cat should be back, but I don't
He's
really
playing.
expect him to be that much of an impact, um, other than just another big bodied guard. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Anthony Edwards versus KD slash Book series. I think that's pretty much what this is going to be. I'm expecting a lot of high scoring, not too much defense. So yeah, who do you think is going to take this one?
I got the Timberwolves. Um, that was like the one team I slept on preseason was the Timberwolves. I didn't have them in that top at all, let alone almost getting that one seed. Their defense was ranked top all year. Obviously, about to have four-time Defensive Player of the Year in Rudy Gobert. The question is going to be, can he stay on the floor? Because come
Yeah.
playoffs, a lot of the times because of matchups, because he's not able to move around 1 through 5, they often have to pull him. And if that's the case, the defense does fall apart, and you could get a higher scoring game.
Well, and the
Um,
Suns are one of those matchups where KD is a lengthy big man that's not a true center. So if they shove him at the five and just play wing ball, then it'll be likely that Gobert will get pulled.
Yeah, I think this one, everyone, the Timberwolves are actually underdogs in the series, and
Oh
so
wow.
having home court, being an underdog, and Anthony Edwards, in my opinion, should be top 5 in the MVP race right now, with them being
Yeah,
almost
he's in his
atop the
prime.
West.
Yeah.
I think it's Timberwolf time. They looked what not great, but they looked solid against the Nuggets last year in the playoffs, and now with a little more experience, having a great defense. Defense wins championships, and like the Suns don't play defense. Beal was just talking about it a few games ago. Like that it's time to start stepping up on the defensive end. Katie can, Booker can, but that's about it. No one else on the team plays
Yeah.
D. I do think the Timberwolves take it, which is weird to say because I didn't have them and I did have the Suns before the season started. At least making that next series. If it goes Game 7, I don't think I can go against KD,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking the Timberwolves are going to take it in 6.
Yeah, I honestly don't have a pick for that one. I just can't pick that one. I think that if it's gonna go less than 7 games, I'm taking the Suns actually. I think if it's gonna be 4-1, 4-2, I think the Suns are just gonna be on their game shooting the ball incredibly. But if it goes deeper in the series, like 6, 7 games, I can see the Timberwolves taking it, especially if they have a Game 7 at home. I can see that being pretty hype and bringing the Pat Bev meme back and all that. So I could definitely see that happening. But yeah, and then another series we got Milwaukee Bucks and Indiana Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
Bucks are likely to be without Giannis for at least one game. It could be two. Knowing Giannis, it's most likely only going to be one.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think Indianapolis is going to be able to capitalize on that? And are they going to be able to take this series from Milwaukee because they clearly don't have the defense they did last year?
Yeah, we talked about this preseason. I said the Bucks went and got Dame, and they got worse, and they
Mm-hmm.
made it harder for themselves because Drew went to the Celtics. With that, I also talked about throughout the year they went from a top 5 defense for 3 straight years, which won them a championship, to 26th defense this year, and then with that, now playing without Giannis, who is your offense and defense, you're kind of
Yeah.
screwed.
Yeah.
Um, like Brooke Lopez is gonna, he'll be around. Bobby Portis has been solid. Chris is back, but he hasn't had to step up, and he's gonna need to.
Yeah.
Playoff Dame's the only thing I'm interested to see because that was a thing in Portland. Is it gonna be in Milwaukee? Um, but we talked about this as well with the play-in. This was the matchup. The Pacers
Yeah.
went out there and they took down the Bucks, and it's because the Pacers put up 130 points almost every game,
True.
and the Bucks can keep up with that, but they prefer to play slower, run it through Giannis, and kick it and whatnot. They're going to be playing with Adams, so I think they lose a battle in Game 1. The Pacers are going to be able to outscore them. If Giannis is back Game 2, they could take it. But I do think the Pacers start up somehow, some way in the series, up 2-1, and go in. and get another win at home. I think the Pacers take the series, and I think they do it in 6.
Right on. Yeah, I honestly think I'm going to take the Bucks in this one. I think that the Pacers are likely going to take game one, but I think that from there the Bucks will probably take three in a row. I just I think that since Dame moved, there's just playoff Dame time comes, and now that he's with this level of a team versus a team like Portland that he was taken deep into the playoffs with like just him and CJ. I think that Dame's gonna have a little bit more support, and I expect him to just completely turn into playoff demon mode. And Halliburton's not really going to have an answer for it. And the Pacers are a pretty young team as well, so I think this is going to be super good experience for them. I do see it going 7 games, so I'm expecting Milwaukee in 7. But I would not be surprised to see like the Pacers get 2 early ones off of them, and then Dame just has to turn it on to a different level. But we'll see. I'd like to see
Yeah,
the
in a
Pacers
one
win,
and done.
obviously. Yeah,
Yeah, in a one and done, which Game 7 would be. I'm taking the Pacers because they can outscore them,
true.
which is crazy because I watched Giannis go for 50 against KD at Barclays Center a few years ago,
Yeah.
as which led him to a
But with all the
championship. So,
nerves and the jitters and stuff, I feel like a lot of that's going to come down to defense. So it'll be whether they're getting open shots or not. Because, like I said, the Pacers are young, so it's going to be whether that pressure affects them or not. So
yeah,
it'll
I
be.
mean, like
I'm
I said,
really looking
if
forward to that series.
I think the Pacers do take them 4-2, but I think that's because they get an early start, couple
Hmm.
wins while Giannis is out, or while he's slow, and they're trying to figure out how to play one way game 1. If he comes back game 2, they got to change play style again.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair take. I think that the Pacers are definitely going to get game one. It's just going to be whether they're going to be able to go back home, or is it 2 on the road to start?
2-2.
2 on the road. So it's going to be about whether they can get 2 in Milwaukee immediately. Because if they can do that, then they can definitely take a 3-1 lead going back into Milwaukee. So yeah, that'll be a fun one. And then the other one is the Clippers and the Mavericks, which is going to be another absolute banger of a series. The Clippers just turned on like a new level. Basically, they hit a new level like what 20 games into the season or so. Like Harden needed 5-10 games or so to get kind of acclimated with the new team, and then they just would not lose. It just seemed like every time I looked at the scoreboard, every time the Clippers were winning, and it wasn't by like minimal point margins. It was like by 15 to 20, like almost every game. So
Hmm.
just want to shout out the Clippers. Like with those old balls, they're finding ways to win, and it seems like they got it going for them right now. So I'm definitely rooting for them coming into the playoffs.
Yeah. Question for you: do you know who the youngest player is out of those big four that they have?
Um, Kawhi, PG, it's probably Russ.
It's Kawhi
Or
Leonard.
is it really? Wow.
Kawhi's only 32.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it threw me off. I knew Paul George was 33
He's
and
such an
Harden and
old
Russ.
soul. It seems like he's like 37.
Yeah, it seems like he's almost done, and he probably is. He's probably got 3 years, and he's going to retire.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I found that very
And Russ is
interesting.
what, like 36, 35?
35, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah. And I think
drafted
PG's a little
2008.
older, right? PG's a little older.
PG's 33. Harden's 30.
Oh,
Actually,
wow.
I think
Okay.
Harden turned 35 also. But yeah, anyway,
But
crazy
yeah.
stat. With that, yeah, it's been fun. Like you said, Clippers kept winning, kept winning, kept winning. Russ went down, and they did fall apart.
Yeah, true.
They need that spark off the bench. He plays very well to elevate Norman Powell, Plumlee when he's getting a chance. Zubox, I think, is going to have to step up in a game where Gafford and Lively, or in a series that Gafford and Lively are going to be able to potentially dominate. They're very athletic bigs that can get lots of alley oops and set big screens and allow Luca and Kyrie to get to the cup. And Zubac's going to need to step up. I do think they exploit that a little bit, make him get in foul trouble and take advantage. On the other side of that, Luka Magic
Yeah.
carried a team to the Western Conference Finals. He also has Kyrie Irving now. And in the last 10 games of the season, they were number 1 ranked defensively in the NBA, and they were number 4 in offense. And as well as that, since the trade deadline, they're number 1 in defense and number 7 in offense for the whole season. Um, so
It's
they
going to be
look
about
good.
whether they can, yeah, they're going to have guards that match up, I think.
Yeah,
And in
it's going
that
to be his third
series, it's, yeah, I mean, they're going to
his
have
third
them.
time the
So,
charm. His third
Yeah,
time the
true.
charm for Luca. 2020 lost in seven, I believe, and then in 2021 lost in six. Um, Obviously, they added Kawhi. Kawhi, Harden, Russ, or no, Kawhi and PG were there. Harden and Russ are new,
Harden and Russ, yeah.
but then obviously Kyrie, Lively, PJ, a lot of new starters over there for the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's going to be a great series, and I know it's going to go six. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it's going to go seven. Granted that I'm trying to decide if I want to take Luca or Kawhi in Game Seven, and so rather than doing that, I'm going to give it to the Clippers in six because I think Ty Lue is the better coach, and I think he's going to be able to have. Kawhi is a multi-time champ. Ty Lue's one of the best coaches in the league, and it's hard to do that because I'll probably be rooting for Luca, but also I can't go
Mm-hmm.
against my boy Russ, so it'll be interesting to see. Super excited for that series. I'm going to give it to the Clips with home court advantage and the better coach.
Yeah, I think the big decider for me is just the fact that the Mavs are kind of starving at the big man position. Like, not that the young guys aren't great, they just don't have like veteran leadership that are kind of really developing those guys. So I think just for mainly that reason, like the experience factor, and I feel like the Clippers just have the scoring to overwhelm the Mavs. Like I just think that the Mavs aren't going to be able to keep up with them scoring. And then on top of that, the defense, like when Kawhi wants to play defense and like when he has the team playing defense the way he wants to, they're going to be really unstoppable, I think. So I'm honestly going to take the Clippers, I think 4-2 as well, maybe even 4-1. I think they're going to find a way to get one of them in Dallas. They're going to get both in LA and find a way to get one in Dallas. And so that'll make it either 4-1 or 4-2.
That's
But
surprising.
yeah, I think that the Clippers are going to be the better team. I think that just like Dallas doesn't have the experienced big guys, and PG is 6'8". Russ is like a 6'4", 6'5", backup guard that is extremely fast. So I mean, who are they going to have to guard him? Not Kyrie. He's not going to guard Russ. So I mean, it's just a lot of big matchups that I'm looking at. Going, I don't like the way Dallas looks in this. So yeah, I think LA is going to run through them. I think that this is going to be a quicker series than we think. I think there's probably going to be a game where Luka dominates, goes for 50, and they end up winning. But other than that, I think it's just going to be probably a lot of just crickets. And I don't expect Kyrie to have that great of a series, just because I know that when the Clippers want to play defense, they can. So it's just going to be about whether Russ is going to be able to impact the game or not. So
Interesting. Yeah. See,
yeah,
I'm trying to convince myself into taking the Clippers, and you think they're going to run them. So
yeah, I
that's
think they're going to
interesting.
run them. Mm-hmm.
I'm
Just the
also
way
part
they've
of me
been
want.
playing, dude. It's just like I've been watching a few of their games, and one of them they were up like 35 in the first quarter, second quarter, and I was like,
Yeah, where's the
"Holy shit!"
Suns?
Like, yeah, yeah, and it got up to like 50 or 60, and I was just like, I don't remember the last time I saw like a team down 60 by halftime, like or 50
Mm-hmm.
by halftime. It was crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just think
I
that
also
if
am
they
looking
play on that
forward
level,
to.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that potential matchup. Really, as part of the reason I'm swaying Clips here, because I kind of feel like inside the Mavs are going to get it done because I don't want to go against Luca, but I want to see PG, Russ, and Harden against the Thunder. I think that'd be phenomenal. Getting to see kind of what that trade
yeah,
and former Thunder players all now going older to the Clippers, what that would look like in a second round series.
that would be a
So
really fun series.
I think that would be super fun. And obviously, I'm rooting for my Thunder, but I always root for Russ too. So um, that'd be fun to see PG, Russ, and Harden all get a ring in the same year.
Yeah, for sure. And all on the same team in LA, not with the
Mhm.
Lakers, would be kind
At
of like
home, yeah,
telling
where
for
they're all
sure.
from in LA would be
Hmm.
awesome, but not
Finally get
likely.
some, hopefully
Honestly.
get some bandwagon Lakers fans off of that team. But I think the last game we pretty much haven't talked about is going to be Boston, pretty much in depth. Boston going against whatever team they go against.
Mm-hmm.
Likely going to be either obviously Miami or Philadelphia. Um, I think personally, I think the Celtics are my favorites to win the championship right now. I just think the pieces they added with Drew Holiday and Porzingis, and then on top of what they already had with a solid bench, I think they've just got everything going for them right now. I don't really see like obviously the East isn't nearly as good as the West this year, but I just don't see a single team in the East or the West that's going to be able to stop them. If anything, I think it's going to be the Clippers. So hopefully, if it is the Celtics, the Clippers will be there because I think they're going to be the best chance on both sides of the ball. But Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are in their prime, and Porzingis was the missing piece for them. I think that's kind of like what the Mavs are missing, man. It's like they have the two guards that are all stars. It's just going to be about finding that missing big man, and PJ Washington could develop into that, but I just think it's going to be a little bit bigger piece than that that they're missing. But I don't know. They have some young guys too, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, what do you think of the Celtics, man? We didn't really talk about them too much.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the Knicks yet either, but the
That's true.
Celtics are, yeah, I think they're heads above everybody else.
Yeah.
Realistically speaking, I do think that the Knicks are going to be able to challenge them in a very fun best of 6 or 7 series, which would be the Eastern Conference Finals. That's the series I'm expecting. I think that whether it's the Sixers or Heat, I think those are the two teams making the 7-8, no matter which way it ends up going. But I think the Celtics handle either one. Joe Mazzulla was the problem that Eric Spoelstra outcoached him last year, and the Heat were able to knock off the Celtics with that high school zone defense yet again. Mazzulla's gotten a little experience. The team got better. Like I said at preseason, Drew Holiday is another ball handler when it matters most. Get it away from Jaylen Brown, and you have Tatum, who's already a guy you don't want to see come playoff time. So I think the Celtics have a pretty easy time, probably winning in 5 with either team that they end up playing.
Yeah, and then obviously we think they're going to pretty much walk through the East. But who do you think in the West is going to give the best shot at taking them down in the finals?
Um, I know we talked preseason about wanting to see the Clippers Celtics, so I do
Yeah.
think that would be very fun. Like you just said, we had talked about the
Hmm.
Big Four and the Big Four. Like that'd be a super fun
Super
series to
cool.
get to
Yeah.
watch. I think the best team to have a shot to take them down is the Nuggets because they already, um, I mean,
Defending
they
champs.
took,
Yeah.
yeah, defending champs with the best player in the world and great coach. So I expect the Nuggets Celtics to kind of be that rematch we talked about a little while ago. I'm rooting kind of for my Thunder or Clippers to make a run at it. Um, Obviously, preseason prediction, I said it was going to be that 2024 script with Kobe and the Lakers Celtics. And if the Lakers take down the Nuggets, I don't want to face the Lakers. So
No, for sure.
the Lakers could theoretically do it. Um, yeah, Clippers Knicks would be a fun series. Lakers Knicks would be a fun series. I do think Knicks make the Eastern Conference Finals, and I do think the Celtics make the Eastern Conference Finals. The West is more open. I would not be shocked to see the Clippers, the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Mavericks. Honestly, could win it. And that's not talking about my Thunder or the Timberwolves, who have been up top for most of the season. So that one will be tough. Probably the Nuggets would be a fun one and could theoretically match up Luca against Luca against Joker. Would be a fun Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, and I think that realistically, it's probably going to be the Nuggets or the Clippers that give us the best chance against the Celtics on the Western side.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully those will be the teams. If not, hopefully the Celtics will get knocked out early, and then we'll just be able to kind of roll. But yeah, I think it's going to be a super fun playoffs. It's a lot of the same teams, but a lot of new players shuffled around. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how these new lineups match up, and hopefully we'll be able to see some fun game sevens.
Mm-hmm. There could be a lot of them. I would not be surprised.
Yeah. But yeah, that's going to about wrap it up for NBA for this week. Obviously, first round of playoffs, but we'll be checking back in after the first round, before the second round, just to make sure everybody gets our picks for the second round as well as the other events coming up. Formula One, we have the Chinese event this weekend, which should be pretty fun. I'm expecting Max to continue to dominate, although I know this is a little bit of a different track. So hopefully we'll be able to see everybody kind of more fighting at the top of the pack. But right now, Red Bull's car just seems a little bit better than everybody else. So don't have too many other comments on that at the moment. UFC 300 just happened. Incredible card, tons of KOs, tons of finishes. Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway, that fight. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch it, definitely go back and watch it. 25 minutes of thrill and a knockout in the last few seconds. So that was incredible. But yeah, UFC 301 coming up shortly. Not a huge fan of the card this weekend, but we'll definitely be checking back in as that comes closer. So yeah, thank you
Mhm.
guys for tuning in, and until next time, peace out.
Yep. See you.